Welcome back to Premier League Friday. Let's get to that breaking news. Tottenham have announced the signing of Xavi Simons. The deal is worth just over £51 million and he's signed a 5-year contract. A Spurs statement has said this. They've said that we are delighted to announce the signing of Xavi Simons from RB Leipzig. The 22-year-old Netherlands international has signed a long-term contract with the club and will wear the number 7 shirt. Xavi has also said, I'm really happy and I can't wait to get going. I've been dreaming of this for a long time. It's a great club. And when I met the head coach, I knew straight away that this was the right place for me. I will bring flair to the team, but also work hard and have discipline. I want to do everything I can to win for the team and also for the fans. So there you go, a major coup for Spurs after some long-standing interest from Chelsea. So Tim, I've got to ask, what have you made of this signing and how badly needed was this?
Well, he needs something. Madison's obviously picked up the ACL injuries and missing. Elise was stolen from under the tree by Arsenal. So, you know, he needed someone with a little bit of guile, flexible, can play on the wide positions and that number 10 position. And he fits that bill. I mean, you've got to be really cautious about his highlight reels, what we've just seen there. Yeah. But unfortunately, managers don't go live now and watch games. You know, they leave it to their recruitment department, the sporting directors. So they're in the lap of the gods, really. I mean, obviously, Thomas Frank, it's an easy persuasion for me to get Simons to come to Tottenham. Yeah. You know, it's a big club. They're in the Champions League. You know, I wanted Tottenham to go out and sign a player who Liverpool want, who Arsenal want, and win that race, you know, and Man City. But, you know, I'm not. If Chelsea were not really in for him there, do you know?
Yeah, they had that long-standing interest in him. Obviously, they've gone with.
If they were interested, they would have got it. He wasn't first choice. Eze was first choice, obviously. But the boys obviously delighted. It's a massive club, and I would, you know, suggest it might be the biggest club he ever played for.
Wow. I mean, do you think, Alan, this is enough for the fans to kind of forget that Eze moment from this summer?
No, because Eze was a blow. There's no doubt about it. He's a real talented individual, and I think he's going to do terrific at Arsenal. But Simons is, you know, a long list of Dutch wingers who have come to the Premier League, and they've not all done well. Anthony's showreel at Man United was better than that showreel, you know, and he's really struggled. Yeah. Look at what you got to remember about the Premier League, it moves so fast, and obviously the funds that the Premier League has is taking it a level above. And even the Bundesliga now, even teams like Wirtz and players have come from the Bundesliga and they're struggling because the Premier League is just so much more physical, so much more quicker and sharper, so I fear for these players who are coming from abroad to start with. I think, you know, if we benefit them some time, maybe, then we might get the transition that they're going to need. Yeah, it is a gamble, though, as Tim is saying. You know, it's not like a cast iron, this one.
Cup of tea, though, Al. 50 mil now. I mean, that's right. I mean, it's nothing in these days. You know, you're getting average players for that. I mean, we could have put a showreel Rasmus Højlund together, and we'll all be jumping up and down and want to sign him tomorrow. But we know how difficult he's found it in the Premier League, and we could say the same for Benjamin Sesko. The only thing with Sesko is he's not been given a chance. If I'm Ruben Amorim, give him an opportunity.
Yeah,
I think all the new big signings so far have not really made a great impact. Yeah. Because, you know, as I say, their adjustment to the Premier League is vast.
Yeah, it looks like that adjustment period is getting bigger and bigger,
absolutely,
kind of each year. Yeah. But at the end of the day, Spurs were obviously, you know, down a player with Madison with the ACL injury. They're clearly looking for a player that has those progressive carries towards the box, has an eye for goal. They were looking at Morgan Gibbs-White, that didn't work out. Eze, same thing. Xavi Simons kind of does fit that bill quite well.
They've got a lot of players who do that as well, Roman.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of players in their
I mean, Kudus has that same thing where he wants to pick up the ball and wants to go. But I think with the addition of Xavi Simons in there, Tell as well.
Why'd they bring him in? I mean, he's blocking up pathways, you know. They're all as good as each other. What I'm saying is I wanted them to sign a player who's going to go straight into the first and be a mainstay, be a reference for the side. I'm not sure Xavi Simons is that man.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
For me, it excites me at times. It's a bottle of pop, you know. Sometimes he's like fizzes and goes and you think, wow. And for a couple of games you don't see him.
Or is it also like one of those pops where there's no fizz in the drink?
Sometimes. I think sometimes it could be that. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he gets some consistency. But Alan said it's absolutely right. It's the toughest, most competitive league in the world. Yeah. And it's not easy. But he'd be playing on the front foot. He's a fantastic club, wonderful stadium. And I wish him well, but
you know,
I hope they make a successful signing, really.
the success Thomas Frank had at Brentford in particular was his away team, the way he set his team up, where he kind of got his group back together quite quickly defensively, so they were solid.
Yeah.
But they broke really quickly.
Really quick, yeah.
And I think he's sort of gearing this Tottenham team, not so much at home, because obviously the pressure is going to be massive on them. They need to be able to do it at home.
Yeah.
But I think he's away. When I look at the squad now, I'm thinking he's got a lot of pace on the break, and that will work for Thomas.
The only thing he hasn't got is that he hasn't got that midfield player. They're all very similar. You know, Sarr, Bentancur, Birdval, you know, I think Palhinha, all very similar. All good players at what they do.
Yeah.
They needed that guile in there, the player who can get his head up and find that range pass, you know, and that is not Xavi Simons. Someone needs to assist the assister, you know, and they need that. That's missing because when teams sit back against them, they're going to find it hard to break them down.
Well, let's find out what are Spurs getting. Let's speak to German football expert Rafa Honigstein. Rafa, thank you so much for joining us, mate. Some great discussion here. We're trying to work out exactly what are Spurs getting in Xavi Simons and how can he affect that team straight away?
You're getting a big talent. He's not the finished article yet. He's been inconsistent a little bit. His form suffered last season along with his teams. He wasn't the guy who lifted them. He was swept along with the negative performances. But a lot of clubs, and of course Spurs included, were prepared to look beyond that and see the talent and see the flexibility and the versatility. He's a guy, even though he's not a winger and he's not pure number 10, can play across almost any position up front. He's not going to be your number 9 unless you want to go down the false 9 route. But he can play on the inside left. He can play on the right. Coming inside, he can play in that number 10 role. And if you're really attacking, you can even have him as one of the attacking 8s in let's say a 4-3-3 system. That's where he played for Leipzig the other day. Has to be said with mixed success because they lost 6-0 but against Bayern. But I wouldn't blame him for that too much. But, you know, he is a guy that still needs time. He's not a world beater. He's not an established starter for the Netherlands just yet, but he is in the mix. And I think he's going to become better. And if he can be integrated quickly and if he learns to be a bit more robust, because he does go down a little bit easily, then I think he can be a big success.
Okay, and Rafa, we have to ask about one of the signings that looks like obviously is a big one for Newcastle, Voltemade. What Newcastle getting out of him, out of the former Stuttgart striker?
Well, literally a big signing because he's very, very tall. Again, a similar answer. I mean, he's not the finished article yet. Has 6 months of real top performances, but that's it. 6 months in the Bundesliga, 12 goals. Great performances with the under-21s for Germany, of course. Took him to the final. But not somebody who's going to be immediately scoring 20, 30 goals to him unless his development goes to another stratospheric level. So they're buying the potential. They're buying the promise. They're buying the idea that he's going to be a superstar in maybe a year, maybe 2-3 years to come. But he's not going to be a plug-and-play number 9, leading the line, scoring goals, holding up the ball in the Premier League. I think he needs time for that. I think centre forwards, they don't necessarily develop in a linear fashion. There's up and downs. I always think back to, for example, Lewandowski, where he was at 22. He was nowhere near ready to play at this level. Took him a long time to reach his peak. And I think there are other examples. But in this market, especially with the Isak money burning a hole in Newcastle's pockets, I can understand. I see the rationale, I see the idea, but it is not a gamble, but it is an investment into the future rather than the present.